Gabby Ackerman. I'm the Business Development Director for Women in Payments, and I'm delighted today to be chatting to Amanda Wiltshire Craine. Amanda is the Senior Vice President and Head of Global Customer Services at PayPal. She's based in New York. Welcome, Amanda. Perhaps you can start with a couple of words of introduction.
Well, thank you so much, Gabby, for having me here. I joined PayPal about a year ago, and as you stated, I have the privilege and the honor of leading global customer services, which basically means that we are responsible for providing servicing to our 320 million consumer and small business accounts across all of our brands, including PayPal and Venmo, and across all of the markets in which we service our customers. Before joining PayPal, I spent almost a decade in financial services in various types of operational roles, but that's only been roughly half of my career. The other half of my career was actually spent outside of operations in management consulting, product management, product development, as well as direct marketing. So it's run the full gamut, and I think all of those experiences have really made me a much more effective leader when it comes to servicing our customers in my role today.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Amanda. And for our audience who may be new to My Career in 6, we will start with some rapid fire questions, really just looking for one word answers, followed by more in-depth questions where we can dig a little deeper. Are you ready, Amanda?
I think so.
Who or what inspires you?
My mother.
Do you attribute your success to luck or hard work?
A lot of both.
What drives you?
Excellence.
Your favorite quote or motto you live by?
I will have to borrow from my grandmother, who used to tell me that it's important not just to focus on the destination, but to enjoy the ride in getting to that destination.
When applying for a new opportunity, what percentage of required attributes do you feel you need in order to be confident in your application?
Definitely not 100%. So this was one of the things that I learned because it's a generalization, but a lot of women in particular believe that they have to have 90% or 100% of the qualifications. But I always believe that it's important to have a part of that role that's going to be a stretch. It's a way for you to develop and grow as a leader and as a person. So I would say roughly 60%.
The coolest payments company today?
Of course, PayPal. Without question, hands down, we were the innovator in the payment space, and now we're looking to revolutionize commerce globally and not just e-commerce. So hands down, PayPal, absolutely.
Absolutely. So thank you, Amanda. Now that we know a bit more about you, let's move on to the more in-depth questions about your journey. What has been your biggest challenge as you climbed the ladder in the payments industry?
There have been a number of different challenges, but I think one of them, especially in the payments industry, is just the speed, breadth, and depth of the innovation that the industry has had across the last 5 to 7 years, never mind the last 2 decades. And I talked about PayPal as being a leader in the payment space, really helping to define payments in a very different way, where you're sending payments to sellers as a buyer that you didn't really know, and to do that in a digital way. And even today, we still hold the #1 market share position in that space. But there are lots of different ways and aspects to the innovation. And I think just being able to keep up creates a full-time job in and of itself. So I think that's been one of the big challenges, is making sure that you're staying on top of the innovation, understanding what that means, not just for the industry and the business that you're a part of, but how you can also apply it in the function or functions that you're a part of. And as I talked about, I've done a lot of different types of roles, spanning from product management and marketing all the way to operations. And AI in particular, along with zero-touch automation in how we service customers, have been a very big part of how we've been thinking about the servicing realm and what we need to be doing differently and better for our customer experience.
What do you feel has been your greatest accomplishment in your career?
One of the through lines that I've had in my career is taking on those roles that were facing a big headwind or challenge or transformation opportunity. And the objective that I had in mind was, how do I enter that position and leave it for the next person to take on in a better place than when I first took that role. So that has been something that I've been incredibly proud of because I think for the most part, I've been able to do that. I've stepped into roles and in functions and in businesses that were faced with a number of different challenges, whether it was a set of regulatory challenges, market growth challenges, or top to bottom transformation challenges. And by assembling what I think has been consistently really strong teams, having very clear focus and strategy, and the grit to really get the work done, and leaving it in a better place, I think that's been honestly my greatest accomplishment and something that I hope will continue as I go throughout my career.
If there's one thing you could have done differently, what would that have been?
I think if I were to do something differently, it would be being a stronger self-advocate. As I think about all the different mentoring conversations and coaching conversations that I've been a part of, either as the coachee or the coach, or the mentee or the mentor, especially when it comes to women and people of color and diverse backgrounds, one of the things that uh, doesn't happen is learning how to be a strong advocate for yourself. Having those very clear conversations, not just with your leader or your leader's leader, but also with the partners that you work with your network of people who can support you in that cause, and helping them be a part of your advocacy. I think that's an important part of what I would love to do a little bit differently, where I'm able to turn back the clock to my younger self.
How important have your networks and connections been in assisting your career in the payments landscape?
Incredibly important for two reasons. One is back to what I talked about before in terms of some of the biggest challenges in being in this payments business, which is the speed of innovation. And I leverage my network both inside of the industry and outside of the industry, because some of the best ideas are coming from outside of payments, and I fully accept that, to really have a pulse on what's happening in that innovation space, whether it's in these days, generative AI and the different use cases, where automation comes in, what is happening in terms of broad customer expectations. And the best ways to learn about those is by reaching out to your network and understanding what they're seeing, what they're experimenting with, what's working and what's not working as well. So that's been an incredible part of the source of information for me that's helped me navigate my career and the thoughts and ideas and innovations that I've had to really lead on. The other piece of that is it's really been through my network that I've had the opportunities that I've had in my career. If I really think about it, all the roles that I've had have really come from my network, either directly or indirectly.
As a senior female leader, how have you helped shape the culture of your current business?
One of the seminal highlights of my career was several years ago when I was promoted to managing director. And it was in an organization at the time that did not have a managing director leading the scale of business that I was leading, who was a woman. And when I got that promotion and when it was announced, I received a number of emails from across not just my organization, but from other organizations. And many of those notes came from women who had watched me from afar and shared with me that my promotion gave them hope, that they had a role model who had, made it. And that had me really thinking about the opportunity that I had to really pay it forward and how important that really is. So it's been a very core part of how I think about leadership, how I think about the importance of mentorship and sponsorship, and just in terms of how I want to run my business.
What advice would you give to aspiring women professionals in this industry?
Be fierce. I think that's been a kind of a personal motto of mine for the last several years, especially at this point of my career. Going back to some of the comments that I made before, I think it's important to be a strong advocate for yourself. I think it's important to be clear about what your objectives are, what drives you, motivates you, and also to be honest with yourself about where you need additional support and further development.
Thank you very much for your time, Amanda, and for sharing your career journey with us. And thank you all for listening. And I encourage you to join us online for the many more episodes of My Career in 6, where we chat with inspirational leaders from around the payments world.